Now, it would probably make a lot of sense at this point to, again, I'm going to make a draft out of this. And let's simply call that version 2 and publish. So now version 1, version 2. Again, I can't overemphasize enough. You always want a place to go back to, and we'll make this the VC Basic 2-column. Okay, now, important step here. Let's say, now keep in mind in the previous video, we did create this from an existing template. And again, we did that by coming over here. We picked the template that we want, etc., etc. And then we either tweaked or designed or moved or changed or whatever we did, but we're not reinventing the wheel. What I'm trying to share with you is try to avoid whenever possible starting with a blank page. Now, if that helps you from a design standpoint, well, then be my guest. But, you know, the people at Visual Composer have done a very good job in laying out professional layouts to begin with, so why not capitalize on their design skills and not reinvent the wheel? If you want to make changes and edit, like I just explained to you, you can do that. So along that theme, no pun intended, let's click this and let's actually save this as a template. Now, again, when saving things, I would give it some kind of logical understanding. So let's call this client template. You can attach this to a client number if you want, client, 345, and let's say that this is the product page. Okay, so therefore, if you want to use this again next week, next month, next year, it's right there for you. Now, if you want to delete that, you can do that as well. And I'm going to close that. So let's see how this would work in a practical aspect. Okay, so let's go and create a brand new page. In fact, let's just create a brand new page from scratch. The only thing I'm going to do is copy that for a second. We're going to paste that and just let's call that version 3 client. And let's pick our basic design 2-column and publish that. Okay, always make sure that you're picking the layout that this page is going to support or this post is going to support with layouts, etc., etc. It's an important aspect. Okay, so here we're going to go back in editor and we're going to pick right here, and right there we can pick the template that we already have. Now understand that these templates will not be part of my default template. These are my default templates that ships with Visual Composer. These are the templates that you decided to create, and again, if you want to trash it, you would trash the template. So I'm just going to click right there and it's going to insert that client template. Sometimes it's a little slow. And there is my client template. Okay, with my get this deal and everything we did before. Now again, to repeat, it's probably going to make a lot more sense if you delete this row. I'm going to delete this row. Therefore, I can just mimic this row. So if I want to say get this deal, get this deal, get this deal, and I want to have images that are set up for medium size, it's going to make a lot of sense to, again, get this looking exactly the way you want to with fonts and colors and text and background and everything else. Then start duplicating. You'll be way ahead of the game. Okay, again, if I come up here, I can clone the entire section. If I click here, I can put information in the section. Okay, so understand the difference. All these icons are identical, but it depends on your environment that you're in. So as an example, if I want to change this section here to 4 columns, I now have a 4-column layout. If I want to go back to a 1-column layout, then I simply click right there. Okay, if I want to go back to a 2-column layout, then I click right there, etc., etc. Now notice that it doesn't change the design of this layout, it just makes it so it's 2 columns wide or 3 columns wide, etc., etc. So what I can do from here is I can then duplicate that and make changes. Now I'm going to do my trick again because I didn't save this. I'm going to hit back and leave page and then go back forward again to the page I just came from. Because I didn't save those changes, and I didn't spell client correctly either. That would certainly help. So let's go back here to back in editor. Let's click here and let's put in this template. Now again, we're not hitting save, we're just exiting out of the template. And sometimes it's a little slow because it's really doing a little processing speed in the background, and I'm going to update that. So now it's actually saved before it was not saved. So let's go to preview changes again, And depending on the layout that you use, remember that we use the layout that has information over here that we can now start utilizing. So maybe over here you want to put a call to action page. So let's understand how we would do that. Okay, so let's go back, let's close this out for a second, and let's make a brand new page from scratch and simply call this call to action. Now again, from a design standpoint or from a production standpoint, if you're doing this for a client, get in the habit of giving this some kind of version number, version 1, version 2. This way you know what page you want to use. So we're just going to call this version 1. We're going to go to our backend editor. We're going to click here. We're going to go to default templates, and we're going to put the call to action page right there and publish this. Now, we're going to keep this really as simple as possible. We're just going to keep this exactly where it is. Okay, so I'm now going to go back to my pages again, and we're going to go back to that last page we just created, which was the client version 3 client page. We're going to edit that. Okay, so I want to preview the changes. So it's going to bring this page up. So now I have this space over here that I can utilize. Now keep in mind that I set this up in a previous video inside of the Ultimatum theme. So now I can select theme management, go to edit layout, and I have the space over here to utilize, and what I'm going to put over there is my call to action page. Now again, I'm not getting into great details with design. I'm not making this a perfect design, but it's just the idea, the mechanics behind doing it. And of course, we don't want the page title in there. We don't want the featured image in there. And we're going to select the call to action version 1 page as opposed to call to action version 2. Now, because I name these intuitively, it makes sense to us. And since I'm hiding the title, it's our little secret. It's not going to show up for somebody to see. Call to action version 1, what does that mean? So I'm going to save those changes. So therefore, if I save the layout and I go to visit the page, visit the site, I'm going to get this happening. Now, if you're saying, wait a second, why did that happen? That's not what I asked for. Well, we didn't load that page. We simply said the page is going to be the call to action page is going to go here. So if I go to edit layout again, there's my call to action page. So I'm going to close this window out and just preview the changes because this is automatically set up. This page I just want to share with you. This page is automatically set up. Let me just update that for a second. It's automatically set up to go to that page. So if I go to update, preview changes. So now you have your call to action page over on the right. Now, whether or not you want to design it that way, because right now the page is looking really overwhelming, but I'm just sharing with you again the concept behind doing and how easy it is to do this one step at a time. Once again, if I click here, I can go into Visual Composer and I can make visual changes to my page. Now, I would probably not go with this design, but I'm just sharing with you how simple it is to get things into your page using Visual Composer in combination with Ultimatum theme, which makes it really simple, really enjoyable, one step at a time. So if I go and view this page, I can go and edit the page right from here, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and that tells me the page that it's going to. So get to know these different techniques. We have some more videos coming up, so stay tuned.